morning, and I know Scott's probably dying over there. He said, "Oh my God, will she stay on the script or will she deviate? Will she move off?" I'll probably do a little bit of both, but I want to really thank you for having us. And first, I'd like to thank Sharon Silva, the executive director, Peter Rooney, president, as he's been saying, but Elizabeth, it's coming, that's it. And then Elizabeth, your president-elect, for inviting me to speak to you this morning. So I thank you, Buckhead, for being there for Marta and for this region. And I can say to you that we got a lot of hard work ahead of us. And quite candidly, I'm going to speak a little bit today about the $60 million, but I tell you the honest to God's truth, from my vantage point, it's a distraction. Because it, whether or not we happen to have been dealing with this particular issue in terms of the $60 million, the reality is that we have significantly, in our region and in this state, underinvested in public transportation infrastructure for probably about a 15 to 20-year period of time. And unfortunately, it is catching up with us. We happen to be in a perfect storm at this point. And I say that probably the only silver lining in this is that I used to work for a boss in New York, and David would say, if you're going to have a crisis, you want to have a thrombosis, okay? You don't want, it's the truth. You want a thrombosis. You don't want it to be something that's minor, because if it's minor, then everybody kind of, incrementalism being what it is, we kind of satisfies, it goes away. Can we slit a little wrist over here? Can it be a slow bleed? And so I'm not being tongue-in-cheek, but I honestly believe that to some extent the convergence of events that we find ourselves with on an international, national, state, and regional level, if there were ever anything that is going to give us a wake-up call that says that we do not have time to continue to tread water when it comes to making the kind of investment, and I'm really off script now, the kind of investment that, that our local, regional, state, and national level need in terms of making the kind of investment in infrastructure that is warranted and which has been what made America great and what made this region and this state great. So I've had the opportunity to be at Marta's helm now for 13 months. I came here because of what I saw. And candidly, and I'll tell you, I'm a startup change transition fixed manager. That's the way it is. It's always been that way for me. And so my typical lifespan in organizations is about 5 to 7 years. I do my best work when organizations are in those periods, those junctures, and I make no evaluative judgment that one type of management style is better than another. I just simply say to people, including myself, you need to know who you are and what kind of manager you are, and then look at that in relationship to the setting and the environment that you're walking into. I could tell that this region was in the period of churn. And in a period of churn where the pieces were really beginning to come together, certainly the questions were being asked, the transit issues like having the transit planning board with leadership across the region beginning to really grapple with the issue of increasing transportation and transit, because I will tell you that there's no agency in and of itself that can do that. All transit is, we are a part of the fabric of the community that we're a part of. And if that community isn't asking, wanting, raising the questions, you simply write transit on that fabric. Now, we're essential lifeblood, but there's no transit for transit's sake. So the fact that this region has been engaged in such a rich dialogue, and I know you kind of get sick of it because you say to yourself, oh my God, we plan, we never do anything, okay? Well, that's not really true. You've done a lot through the years. It's just that over the last 15 to 20, we got stuck. We got stuck. And I invite you to take, and I'm sure it's probably on the website now, the recent work that has been done by McKinsey & Associates. It's the IT3 at the state level, which is, I think, one of the best pieces that I've seen in terms of pulling together the compelling case regarding the lack of investment that is taking place in terms of public transportation within our area and region and state. And what it really shows is that up until about the mid-1980s, the state of Georgia, and particularly this region, we led the country in terms of, on average, per capita investment in transportation. We've now sunk to an all-time low. We're the second in terms of all the states in terms of what we are investing in the state of Georgia in per capita in terms of investment in transportation. Here's the action plan that we're going to put around it to solve it. Problems just need solutions. So, so what I can say to you is that, and I'll say some other things, but what I can say to you in the strongest of terms, and that was what excited me about this, because I said, my God, this is the Atlanta region. You know, I knew about Marta. I've been knowing about Marta for years. And it's always fun because whenever, it's very few systems in the country that are absolutely beloved in their own hometown, although they can be revered in other places, okay? So when I got here, and I did, I'm being very keen, I'm not sure who's in the room, but you'll find the Bev. I said, look, I'm sure who you are, but I don't know if I heard this. I said, when I saw one of the newspapers here, when I first came, I looked at the couple of years of clips before I came.